We are live. Okay, everyone who's joining us. This is You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers. We are going live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Darby.
I'm Brooke.
And this is called You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers, where we, in 1 hour, try to answer as many questions as we can. And we're just going to wait for people to jump on live here with us in a second. So if you're just jumping on, put your questions in the chat. We would love to hear from you. I want to see how this looks on Instagram, Brooke. I'm going to look at my Instagram real quick.
Ooh, take a peek.
I'm going to take a peek.
I mean, I think we look pretty good.
Oh, I can hear us. Yeah, we look pretty good.
We look pretty good on.
I love it. I love it.
Fun.
Okay, if you're just joining us, again, my name is Darby, and this is Brooke, and this is called You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers, where I read the questions and Brooke gives the answers. It really is beneficial for me, and Brooke hates it, but that's fine.
I love answering your questions.
She does love answering our questions. Okay, real quick, Brooke, what is
today?
Today
is the priority enrollment deadline for Pathway Connect. So if you are thinking about enrolling, if you get your application started by midnight tonight, so just 2 more hours, you're going to be able to enroll and start classes in January for Pathway Connect. We will continue to let people in so long as we have space available. There will be parts of the world where we will reach our enrollment cap. And so for those locations, if that's the case, we will let you know and we'll say, okay, great, you're going to start in April. So it's not too long of a wait, but we will do our best to get you able to start just as soon as possible. And then if you are interested, if you finish Pathway Connect and you're ready to go on to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online, or if you want to go directly to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online, today is the deadline, and this is a hard deadline. So you have to at least get your application started in order to begin classes with BYU Idaho or Ensign College in January. So please make sure that you are logging in, you're starting your application. You're going to have about a week and a half to finish everything with your application, but it has to be started. So it's just basically saying, I intend to do this. I'm interested in doing this, but it has to be started tonight.
It does. Okay, Brooke, our first question right here. I'm undocumented. Can I apply to BYU-Pathway?
So BYU-Pathway Worldwide does not ask for any sort of documentation. We have students from all around the world. And so you're just going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click Apply for Free. And so we have students from all over the world, and we don't check documentation. That's not part of our process. So you'll just go through and do that.
I love it. Look, we have a shout out from Pakistan.
Hello,
everybody. Okay, so if you're just joining us, I'm Darby.
I'm Brooke.
And this is called You've Got Questions,
We've Got Answers.
So if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. We're going to start putting in some questions here from both Facebook and Instagram. Brooke, I'm just going to pop on a banner here for you while I get some of these pasted in for you to talk about.
Perfect. So the Heber J. Grant tuition discount is an amazing program that is available for all students, whether you're in Pathway Connect or your online certificate and degree program. So after you enroll, but before you pay your tuition, you have this great opportunity. And if you've paid your tuition, that's okay. You'll get a refund towards next semester. It's just a great way. I like to do it before paying tuition. So you're going to learn a little bit about the life of President Heber J. Grant, and then you're going to learn, you'll answer some questions about his life. You'll answer a few questions about your life, and then you're going to receive 10, 25, or 50% off your tuition. And that tuition discount is amazing. It stays with you for a couple of years, and then you'll just reapply and re-enroll for the Heber J. Grant tuition discount. So again, it's 10, 25, or 50% off your tuition, and that will stay with you. And it's not something that has to be paid back, and it's available for all students.
I love it. Look, I'm going to switch this up right here. Whoa. Okay, Brooke, is there a free program, like a teacher training program, kind of learning a little bit more about BYU Pathway and what it is?
Yeah. So BYU-Pathway Worldwide offers university courses in a variety of subjects. Teaching is not one of them, but we do have certificates, associates, and bachelor's degrees related to applied business, applied health, communication, human and family relations, technology, information technology, software development, and professional studies. So there are a lot of really great programs and opportunities for students to take advantage of, but teaching specifically is not one of them. There's a lot of rules and regulations in regards to becoming a teacher that are individual states and individual countries. And so in order to offer as many programs that are applicable to students around the world, teaching is not something that we offer right now.
All right, Brooke, our next question. Somebody was just having trouble helping a friend enroll and kind of struggling with the system. So what do we want to kind of like talk to about that?
Yeah. So one, I'm sorry that you were, one, I love that you were helping your friend. That's awesome. Two, I'm sorry that it was challenging. Yesterday, we had a couple of system outages that made it more challenging than necessary. And so we are so sorry. If your friend is still interested in enrolling, we would be happy to try to help them. If they are enrolling in Pathway Connect, they still have time. If they are interested in going directly to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online, they need to get that application at least started in the next couple of hours. So if you were able to get it started, please let us know. Or if you have additional questions, we'll do our best to try to get you some answers.
Okay, and if you're just joining us, again, I'm Darby and this is Brooke, and this is called You've Got Questions.
We've got answers.
And just put your questions in the chat. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. We're trying to answer all of those. We'll be able to stay live for about 50 more minutes. And we'll try to answer anything that comes up. So let me pull another one up for Brooke here. What do I need to do for an application?
I love it. So you're just going to go to BYUpathway.edu. And in the upper right-hand corner, there is a button that says apply for free. It's a gold button. And you're going to click there. It will take you to the admissions page. At that admissions page, you're going to be able to learn a little bit more about BYU Pathway. You might get some answers to any questions you have. And then there's going to be a big button that says apply now. And then that's where you're going to go to start your application. You will need a church account. So you do not have to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to participate in most countries, but you do need a church account. So that's essentially a single sign-on system. And so you will either log into your church account if you have one. If you don't, you'll be able to create one for free within a few minutes. You'll fill out some information about yourself, and then that login information will stay with you, and you'll be able to start your application. So if you have questions or if you want to get your application started while we're still here, please feel free to do that. And then we're happy to answer questions while you're going through it.
Awesome. All right. Our next question says, hey, I'm from Nigeria and I'm just waiting for my admissions letter. Brooke, how long does it usually take for someone, once they finish the application, to receive an admission? Is there an average time, or what can they kind of expect?
Yep. So it depends on what you're looking at. So if you are if you're applying to Pathway Connect, that application, typically within 24 to 48 hours, you hear back. Right now we're in a what we call a peak period where we have quite a few people starting an application. And so it might take a little bit longer. Excuse me. And then in Nigeria specifically, for Friends of the Church, we have reached our enrollment cap. So it's possible that if you haven't started your application yet, there's just going through and working through all of the details. So please let us know how long it's been. If you are enrolling in BYU Idaho or Ensign College online, that typically takes a few days longer because they need to look at transcripts, if you've done any sort of transfer credits, ecclesiastical endorsement. So there's quite a bit more when you're transitioning from Pathway Connect to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online.
Awesome. Okay, and again, if you're just joining, put your question in every single question that comes up, and even if they're just a shout out. So somebody says, no question, I just finished Pathway Connect 102. It's an amazing program. And it's great for those who are continuing their education after a long period off. And I agree. It really is amazing. So thank you for that. Thank you for that shout out. We're going to go over to a Facebook comment next. Just says, hey, I'm watching from Zambia. Okay, so we have a question about campus, Brooke. Are students able to transfer to in-person classes such as BYU, Idaho? And if so, how?
Yep. So students are able to transfer, but it's not, BYU-Pathway is not designed to be a transfer option or a way to get you to campus. So BYU-Pathway is really designed to help people study in their home locations. So whether that's anywhere in the world, it's really designed to help you stay there and study and get a great education, a U.S. Accredited education. And so please make sure that you are working with BYU Idaho. If you're interested in going on campus, you'll need to work with them to figure out everything that will be required for you to go.
Okay, we just have someone here from Instagram saying, hey, I did Pathway Connect and a semester of BYU Idaho online.
That's awesome.
Hopefully you're still enrolled. If not, come back. We've got about an hour, 90 minutes to start that application. You don't have to finish it. Just start it.
Let's start classes again in January.
Okay.
We'd love it.
We would love it. So if somebody does want to come back, Brooke, to BYU and they're working on their degree, where do they need to go?
Yeah, so you're going to log into your student portal. So depending on how long it's been, if it's only been a semester that you took off, you're going to be able to just re-enroll, re-register for classes. But if it's been 2 or more semesters, you're going to need to reapply and just say, yep, I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to start classes. And so you're going to go to returningstudent.byupathway.org. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, let's see what's next. So somebody's having an error. What can they do to help resolve that error, Brooke? Where do they need to go?
Yep. So it depends on what kind of error you're receiving. I would say step 1 is I would reach out to your mentor. So if you're a current student and have a mentor assigned, they're going to be able to troubleshoot and problem solve with you faster than we will. So reach out to your peer mentor. If you're not sure who your mentor is, you can go to BYU-Pathway.edu, and in the lower right-hand corner, there's going to be a button that says, need help, talk to us, chat with us, and you'll be able to ask the bot who your peer mentor is after you authenticate. And that just means you're logging in, that we can identify that you're a student, so we can match you up with your mentor. So I'd reach out to your mentor. If your mentor is unresponsive, I'm sorry, that's frustrating. You can send us a direct message. We'll do our best to help you. But we want you to succeed. We want you to be able to register. Whatever problems you're having, let us know more.
Okay, and if you're just joining again, just put your questions in the chat. We try to answer every single question as they come up. It takes about 10, maybe 12 minutes for us to get through the queue as they start to build up. So somebody's having a question about the types of degrees that BYU Pathway offers through BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College. So Brooke, there's 7.
Yep.
Right. And so let's talk about where they can go to find out more about those. Do you want to rattle them off while I pull this up?
Yep. So we offer certificates, associate's, and bachelor's degrees in business, technology, communication, health, human and family relations, and professional studies. So if you go to byupathway.edu/degrees/program list, you're going to be able to see a full list of the degree offerings and options. And what's really nice is you can look and view at different certificates. You can click into a degree and see, learn a little bit more about what does that mean? What are potential outcomes? So what are you going to be able to learn, or what skills are you going to acquire? And then what are some potential employment opportunities? Why might you choose this degree over another one? And so BYU Pathway's website is a great resource to be able to really look into the different certificates and degrees offered and what might be best for you.
All right, the next question, Brooke, says Pathway 102 students who missed the registration deadline to register for 103, what can they do? So that's the first question. Let's answer that part first.
So if you just finished 102, you haven't missed the registration deadline for 103. So you absolutely still have time to enroll and register for Pathway Connect 103. If you just finished 102, you'll be able to do 103. And so please make sure that you're doing that. In order to register for 103, you will need to be current on your tuition. So it sounds like there might be a tuition barrier with your second question. So in your student portal, there's going to be a finance tab, and there you'll be able to see if there's any holds on your account, if there's any tuition that's still due, and that might be prohibiting you from registering for the next semester. So log into your student portal, go to your finance tab, and see what might be there.
Next question says, do I need to take the TEFL to be able to transfer my credits to BYU Idaho if somebody is moving to a campus experience?
Yep. So I actually don't know what BYU Idaho's language requirements are. And so you'll need to go to BYU Idaho's website, which is byui.edu. And so you'll want to look and see what their requirements are for transferring.
Perfect. Okay, so is it mandatory to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or to be active? So if somebody is a member and not active, is there a requirement of any kind, Brooke?
Great question. So you do not need to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in order to join BYU-Pathway, to participate, to receive a certificate or degree. And during Pathway Connect, you don't need what's called an ecclesiastical endorsement. So that is a meeting with, if you are a member, your bishop and stake president. You don't have to be active fully to participate. You do need to qualify for an ecclesiastical endorsement. So that just means that you're willing to follow the honor code, to live an honest life. And so you'll work through that with if you are a member, with your bishop or stake president. But it's not required to be active to participate. We want to help you get a degree. And you don't need to be a member. So if you're not a member of the church, when it comes to your ecclesiastical endorsement, you can meet with your religious leader and then BYU-Pathway's chaplains to receive an endorsement.
Awesome. Well, if everybody who's just joined us, put your question in the chat. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and we'll answer them in the order they show up. They take about 10 minutes to get to the question, and we do try to answer every question that we see. Every once in a while, you'll stump us, and we'll try to point you in the right direction. Brooke and I both work in the marketing department here at BYU-Pathway, and so we know a lot of the answers. We don't know all of the technical answers, and we don't know exactly how to fix all of those, but we've heard a lot of them and we'll try to point you in the right direction. Okay, Brooke, here's a 3-year degree question somebody has. I'll let you read that and answer that.
Yep. So the question is, how do you switch providers from BYU-Pathway to BYU Idaho Online? What's the 3-year degrees in effect? So you're actually not going to switch providers. So BYU-Pathway is still the service provider, but BYU Idaho is the degree granting institution. So there's nothing different that you need to do. So after you finish Pathway Connect, or if you apply to be an online student directly, you're still going to be serviced through us. The 3-year degree is only available through BYU Pathway's partnership with BYU Idaho and Ensign College.
Okay, next question. When is the due date for the next semester?
Yep. So a couple of things. So if you're asking when's the due date for tuition for Ensign College and BYU Idaho Online, it's going to be January 8th. It's the first day of the term that tuition is due. If you are looking for for Pathway Connect, it's before week 7 of the term. So it's the middle of February is when tuition is due. If you're looking for when should I enroll next, I'm not ready to start in January. Classes will start next in April. So every January, April, and September, classes start through BYU Pathway.
These questions are awesome. This next one says, some students I know have received their admission letters and some like me haven't. Why is that? So they're talking about, because he finished Pathway Connect, finished Pathway Connect, and just wondering about BYU Idaho's admission letters.
Yep. So my guess is it's just depending on timing. So I know depending on when you started your application, if you have everything in, if you've done your ecclesiastical endorsements, if you've filled out all the forms, we have a team of folks that's going through and processing everything. So there's still a couple of weeks that people are going to be processing applications and going through everything. And so 1 second, I just got a note. So
that's okay. We'll pause for just a minute. So
it's actually about a
oh,
course.
okay.
So I messaged someone on our team that handles admissions. And so it looks like you were notified that you were going to be put on hold because we were trying to figure out what your GPA is. Because classes haven't posted yet. So that's why there's the hold, why you haven't received it. Your online, your GPA needs to be a 3.0 or higher in order to enroll. So it looks like your GPA is a 3.01 based on what you've said in another comment. And so if you have a 3.0 or higher, you've met the GPA requirement. And so it looks like the team is still going through everything. And so you should be notified via email within the next 48 hours.
Hey, Brooke, way to solve a problem.
Trying to get answers where I can.
We've got the right girl on the call here. So how many total credits do we get for completing Pathway Connect 101, 102, and 103?
Yep. So that's 9 credits. Each of the classes are 3 credits each. And then you also can get credits for completing Institute along the way. So when you're enrolled in Pathway Connect, you have the opportunity to do Institute. We want you to do it at the same time. And especially when you're doing Pathway Connect and Institute, it's basically free credits. It's a great opportunity to be able to enroll in Institute to continue to learn and get free credits.
Okay. Perfect. I'm just going to jump to our next question here. Are students able to go into postgraduate studies after a BYU Pathway degree?
Mm-hmm.
So if so, which graduates accept? So the degrees come from BYU, Idaho, or Ensign College and are fully accredited here in the U.S. Yeah. So as far as I know, that doesn't cause any problem here in the U.S. in terms of accreditation. Those are all valid and accepted. Brooke, do you have anything you want to add to that?
We've seen people go on to BYU in Provo, to Boise State, University of Utah, overseas, do grad school in the UK. So there's definitely options for you to go to graduate school after receiving a degree through BYU, Idaho, or Ensign College.
Next question says, when will grades become available from this semester that just closed? And where can you find these grades?
Yeah. So grades should be available before the end of the week. So I know that some professors and instructors are still grading things. And so they were supposed to have everything posted, I believe, by tomorrow so that they'll be able, or graded by tomorrow so they'll be able to post by Friday. Some might be available sooner. And so you're going to be able to see your grades in your student portal. Perfect.
If you're just joining us, oh, sorry, Brooke, what were you saying?
I was going to say, and in your Canvas app, you'll be able to see what your grades are.
If you're just joining us, put your questions in the chat. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. These right here, this is a Facebook comment. It says, what should I do if my Pathway Connect gathering is at the same time as my English Connect class? Can I change the hour?
Yes. So if you have already registered for your Pathway gathering, you can work with your service missionaries, and you can go in the student portal and say, hey, I need to change the time of my gathering, and your service missionaries will be able to help support that.
Perfect. We have a question about logging in. They were previously a student and they need to figure out how to kind of come back and log in. So it's kind of a 2-part question, right? Depends on how long it's been.
Yeah, it depends on how long it's been. But I would go to returningstudents.byupathway.org. And you're going to log in using your church account information. And if you don't remember what your church account information is, you're going to be able to find it or to recover it through that system.
Perfect. Okay, keep the questions coming. I like to keep Brooke busy. This question, I think, is asking, what are they going to be learning in Pathway Connect 103? So 101 is life skills, 102 is university skills, and professional skills, and 103 is university skills, preparing to apply to the university, preparing to do all of that application work that if you've never applied to a university, it just walks you through the steps, which is really amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so Pathway Connect 102 students who missed the registration deadline. Did I already do this one?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead. Sorry, 1 second. We're going to jump to an Instagram question. Here is about past debt. Okay, I have a debt from the previous semester and my discount was never applied to the total. So I've not been able to return to the program because it's really expensive in my area.
Okay.
Do you have any comments for that, Brooke?
Can you send us a direct message with your student ID number and we can try to see what's going on? You will need to be able to pay off the debt before you can register for the next semester, but we can look at and see what's going on. So if you can send us a direct message with your student ID number, a member of our team will submit a ticket. Right now it's a really busy time, so it might take a couple of days, but we will do our best to get that ticket submitted and some answers for you.
Awesome. Okay, next question right here says, do you recommend getting your certificate in what degree you're planning to get, or getting a certificate in something else? So like, get really specialized or be a little more broad, Brooke?
Yeah. So depending on what degree you're going after, there are going to be some certificate requirements or certificate recommendations. So when you go to BYU-Pathway.edu, and if you click on certificates and degrees program list, you're going to be able to explore. So let's say you're interested in getting a degree in communication. You're going to be able to go and learn and see what are the program requirements. And there's a couple of different paths. So if you want to do social media marketing as part of your degree, you're going to get a certificate in social media marketing and communication fundamentals and communication core. And so depending on which degree you're interested in, your certificates are sort of laid out for you. The one that is a little bit different, I would say, is the professional studies degree. I jokingly sometimes call that one choose your own adventure because that one does have a bit more flexibility depending on what you're looking to do. So you'll choose you'll choose any 3 certificates really, and work with that in your general education and things like that. So if you are looking to have a super well-rounded choose your own adventure, professional studies is the best route for you to go.
Awesome. Okay, so let's jump over to a Facebook question for a minute. Brooke, we kind of have a series of questions from Jackson. I'm going to show you all 3 because I think that they are important to kind of think through. We read this one. So it has to do with the tuition part. These students can't find the amount to pay. What should they do? And then it says, yes, tuition barrier, but the amount to pay still doesn't show.
Okay, so if it's saying that you have a financial hold in your account, but it's not telling you the amount, there's an error. There's something going on. So if you're currently enrolled, or you have a mentor, reach out to them. They're going to be best suited to escalate the problem for you. If you don't have a mentor, please send us a direct message, and a member of our team will get that escalated.
Awesome. Okay, so Tiff says, can institute classes be taken for credit in your degree?
Yes. So you can take institute classes as part of your religion classes. There's going to be some different requirements that you need to do. Sometimes when you're taking institute just to take it. So after I finished my bachelor's degree, I went and took institute classes just for fun, to meet people, to mingle. I was a young single adult and wanted to do that. And so I just took it for fun. But if you are interested in taking institute for credit, there's oftentimes papers or additional readings or things that need to be turned in. So just be aware of that as you're making that type of a decision.
Awesome. And Tiff said a little shout out. Thank you so much. You guys are always awesome and so helpful. That's what we're really here for. And that's a good moment to pause. If you're just joining us, put your questions in the chat, Facebook or Instagram. We'll get to both of them. This is a Facebook question. We love to answer questions. Brooke and I both work in the marketing department here at BYU Pathway. We love our jobs and we love answering questions and finding out where people are stuck. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. We will answer. It takes about 10 minutes for the questions to come up just as we work through these. But we're doing really well today. We're going pretty fast. So not a question, but I'd like to say thanks for the program and all the time and the people who work on this program. I'm from Honduras.
I love it.
We love it. We're so glad all of you are here.
I get it back. That's awesome.
Okay, here's one we haven't had in a while. Are missionaries allowed to apply for BYU-Pathway while they are on their missions?
Yep. So great question, William. So if you are serving a service mission, you are absolutely allowed to apply and participate in BYU Pathway as part of your mission experience. If you are serving a proselyting mission, that's something that has to be worked out with your mission leader. So it's not something that we promote to full-time missionaries while they're in their service, but it is something that you can talk with your mission leaders about. And so you'll want to look at that after you return home from your mission. It's a great opportunity. Classes start every January, April, and September. And then you'll also qualify for the recently returned missionary tuition discount. So if you're unfamiliar with the recently returned missionary tuition discount, it's good for 5 years from the day that you return home from your mission. And it's 25% off, which is awesome. And this recently returned missionary tuition discount also stacks with the Heber J. Grant tuition discount. So recently returned missionaries can receive anywhere from 35 to 75% off their tuition.
These are great. Okay, let me grab another question for you, Brooke.
Yeah.
So let's see. So we have a question. This is a little bit about the cost, and this user lives in Argentina. So let's talk about we just talked about the missionary tuition discount, which is a great one. So let's talk about the Heber J. Grant tuition discount, and other things. We wish that it was even less expensive, but we have these really great donors who have made these amazing tuition discounts available. So let's do Heber J. Grant next, Brooke.
Yeah, awesome. So the Heber J. Grant tuition discount is available for all students, and it's a needs-based scholarship. So it's not something that has to be paid back. It is an opportunity for students after they've enrolled, but before they have to worry about paying their tuition. They learn a little bit about the life of President Heber J. Grant. They'll answer some questions about their own life, and then they'll receive 10, 25, or 50% off their tuition. And it's a great opportunity to be able to learn and grow. And if you're curious, what's the tuition like in your country, you can go to byu-pathway.edu/tuition. So in Argentina, since that was referenced specifically, it's $2.75 in US dollars. I'm not sure what that equates into Argentine dollars, but it's $2.75 in United States dollars per credit.
Okay, my son is 17. He's going to earn his high school certificate in January. Does he need to wait for next semester?
Awesome. Great question. Will you send us a direct message with that information? We need to it's not going to be our call. That's going to be some of our colleagues that work in the registrar's office. But we are happy to try to ask that. What I would recommend you do is start your application now and say, hey, and just, you can note that your son he's going to get his high school diploma in January. And if he's going to finish in the first part of January, or if it's the end of January, but if you can start the application, and then the registrar's office will review it. And you can also send us a direct message and we can point it over to the registrar.
Okay, these are fantastic. We have a question about going to school on campus, Brooke.
Yeah. So Apollo, so BYU Pathway is not designed to get people to campus or to become campus students. But if you want to go for graduation and to celebrate, absolutely. When Darby and I were at graduation last week with a couple of our colleagues, it was so much fun. We met students from Japan, Russia, Italy, the Philippines, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Costa Rica, Connecticut, Indiana, Arizona, Utah,
Japan.
California, Oregon, Washington, like just literally all over the place. It was the most fun. And so you absolutely can come and celebrate and participate in graduation on campus.
Okay, so we have 2 questions about computers. I'll do this one and then I'll grab the next one, Brooke. But maybe we can so here's the first question, and then I think the other one is this question right here about computers. So what's kind of like your thoughts or feelings about if somebody needs help with a computer or doesn't have a computer, what should they expect from BYU Pathway?
Yeah, so BYU Pathway does not have a means to get students computers. I know there are certain parts of the world where they are looking at, there's some different nonprofits that are looking to provide laptops or make different things accessible for students. And so I would check with your local ecclesiastical leaders to see what's available. But BYU Pathway doesn't have a program to get laptops to students.
Okay, so we might have already mentioned this and answered this about the recently returned missionary tuition discount. Yep. So, Brooke, how long does somebody, from the day they return, how long is that tuition good or valid or apply?
Yeah, so the tuition discount is good for 5 years from the day they come home. So it's meant to be help with a quick start for those who are coming home and maybe not sure what they want to do, get them enrolled in school and get a jump start. And so your husband's not eligible for the recently returned missionary tuition discount, but he is eligible for the Heber J. Grant tuition discount that's for all students, 10, 25, or 50% off based on needs in the home.
Okay, so I'm starting Pathway Connect 103 in January. Should I get working on my endorsement to continue to pursue my degree? So during 103, part of your coursework is to apply, and then part of your application says, hey, you need to go get your endorsement to continue with your application. And so that will happen as part of your work. I'm glad you're thinking about it, but it walks you through those steps so that you have time. Now, we had another question just a second ago, just about the endorsement also that I'm going to pull up, Brooke. So you'll wait until you actually work on your application, because it's going to send a request to your bishop. You start at your bishop level and then you go to your stake president level.
And as soon as you start in 103, you're going to be able to see where you can apply for online degrees.
Okay, so here's the other question about the endorsement, Brooke. So somebody's saying, well, today's the deadline. I don't have the endorsement done.
That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so today is the deadline to start your application. It doesn't have to be finished, but it needs to be started. So don't worry about not having your endorsement done. You're going to have like another week, 10 days to get that endorsement finished. So just go online, get your application started, and then you'll have time to work through the endorsement process.
And having just done an endorsement myself, when you request that endorsement, you're then going to want to reach out to, is it the executive secretary in your ward, who's going to schedule, whoever schedules with your bishop, and get your appointment, because they don't always get a very clear notification that they need to do that. You need to get it, let them know that it's a little urgent. You need to get an appointment, and then you'll need to meet with your stake leadership, and you'll also need to reach out usually and make sure that happens in the timeline. And every time I've had to get one, everybody's really accommodating, let them know you're on a timeline and to get that done. Just a shout out. I love BYU Pathway. Thanks a lot. Okay, Brooke, let's keep going. We've got 20 minutes. Okay, so a little question about degrees. Let's talk about what degrees are offered and where they can find out more about what degrees BYU Pathway offers through BYU Idaho and Ensign College.
Love it. So sports management is not a degree that's offered or available through BYU Pathway. So all of our degrees are meant to be something that's applicable worldwide and can be easy for folks to engage and understand. And they're also things that aren't that don't require localized licensing or training. So we don't offer things like teaching or nursing, things that require state accreditation or country accreditation. So BYU Pathway, you can go to byupathway.edu /degrees/program-list, and you'll be able to see we offer bachelor's degrees in business, communication, applied health, information technology, software development, human and family relations, and professional studies. So things that are really broadly applicable across the world and allow folks to do a variety of things.
These questions are great. Keep them coming. All right. This next one says, hey, I'm kind of struggling registering for an institute course. I just got an email about it. What do you know about the registration for institute, Brooke? I don't know a ton.
Yep.
So if you know, if you can share.
Yeah, so the process is still being worked through. It's always evolving, and so I would say the best thing to do is to reach out to your mentor, and they'll be able to walk you through on a WhatsApp call or chat how to get registered for your next institute class. If you are enrolled in Pathway Connect 101, 102, or 103, your service missionaries will also likely be able to help you with that enrollment.
Awesome. Brooke's a little under the weather, so she's coughing and muting herself a bunch. Brooke, we have got a lot of questions coming in from Facebook. I'm trying to kind of finish up a few from Instagram here in a minute too. But this one from Facebook says, where can I find out about how much it's going to be per semester?
Yep, you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu/tuition, and you're going to be able to see the tuition calculator to see how much does it cost in my home country. What does that look like? How do I get started? And you'll be able to really learn a little bit more about the cost per credit and per semester.
Okay, we've got a big one coming in. Hey, I've got a question. I already finished Pathway Connect when I was living in Italy, and then I moved to the States and I'm living in Idaho. I'm a member of the church, and my question is, can I apply for campus because I can't find the degree I want to study online? Is there a way to study online or in the campus? Tell me a little bit more. Do I need to take an English test to study on campus? Any other requirements you know about? Thanks for your help.
Yep. Georgie, you're going to need to work with BYU Idaho if you want to go and become a campus student. It is likely that you're going to need to take an English exam. I'm not familiar with BYU Idaho's campus requirements, and so you'll want to go to BYUI.edu and look into what that looks like to become a campus student. So if you're interested in going online, we're more than happy to help you with that. But if you want to become a campus student, BYU Idaho will help with that.
Awesome. Okay, so this question has to do, and maybe there's just some confusion about how BYU Pathway operates, Brooke, and how you study in your own country. I'll let you answer that.
Perfect. Yep. So BYU Pathway is designed to help you stay in your home country and continue your studies. BYU Pathway is not a means to come to the United States or to study on campus. BYU Pathway is designed to help you receive a U.S. accredited degree in your home country.
And that answers this question too, that says, what about attending in person? So that is a different application. You'll need to go directly to BYU Idaho's website and work on an application if that is something that you are interested in. Okay, we are doing great. We've got 15 minutes. Okay, a question about when certificates are going to be available. They need to use it soon. So Pathway Connect certificate is not mailed physically. It is in your student portal. You're going to log into BYU-Pathway.edu. You're going to log in just like you would as a student. There's a little person icon up in the top, and you're going to find your certificate there. You can print it out, and it's totally valid. Your certificates from BYU Idaho and Ensign College will be mailed. However, they do take a while, and that typically just has to do with the way the university works. Grades aren't even posted yet. If you're finishing a certificate, then those have to be processed through a couple of levels. They've got to go to a printer and then shipped out. However, those are also available through your student portal virtually, and you can print those out and show those on LinkedIn or wherever it is that you need to show that you finished a certification. And you'll just get your physical mailed copy, probably I would plan on 6 to 8 weeks, depending on where you live. That's pretty typical. When I graduated from BYU here in Provo, it took me 6 weeks to get my degree, and I lived next to the school. So it can take a while, but it is available for you, and you can show that to for whatever purpose you need to show that off. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a question about failing Pathway Connect 103. How do I register again and do that, Brooke?
Yep. So you're going to log into your student portal. And you should be able to just re-enroll for Pathway Connect 103. So if you just did it last semester, if it's been a little while, you're actually going to go to returningstudents.byupathway.org, and you're going to log in there in order to re-enroll for 103. So again, that's returningstudents.byupathway.org is where you're going to go in order to re-register.
Okay, so we have somebody asking, is there a way to talk to a real person? I'm really struggling. The question might be complicated. So Brooke, what is kind of a solution or an option here
Yep. So Natasha, it sounds like you're a current student, and so you have a mentor. So your mentor is there to help walk you through what's going on. They can also set up an appointment with you and for an appointment for you with an advisor to talk through your credits, anything that's transferring or something isn't working. If you are having a hard time with the mentor, or they're not being responsive, you can report that in your student portal. We want to make sure that you're having a great experience and that mentors are there supporting and helping. So if that's not happening, we really want to know about that. And then send us a direct message, and we'll do our best to escalate this for you so that you'll be able to talk with someone.
Okay, so if you're just joining, we're here to answer anything BYU Pathway related. We try to answer every question. If it's kind of like outside of the scope of BYU Pathway, we probably won't get to it in this time limit. We only have another 15 minutes, but we have a lot of questions here to answer. So I recently got admitted as a degree-seeking student at BYU Idaho as serviced by BYU Pathway. I'm starting in January. Will I have a 90 credit bachelor's degree or a 120 credit bachelor's degree?
So Patrick, that's going to be up to you actually. So you, because you're just starting with BYU Idaho online in January, you can do the 120 credit route, or you can do the 90 credit route. So I would say if you are interested in doing the 90 credit route, 90 to 96 credits, depending on the degree, you're going to want to take only classes related to your major. So essentially, the 120 credit degree includes electives or things that you might take because you find an interest in it, but it's not directly related to your degree. And so you're going to want to focus on things that are specific to your degree if you want to do the 90 credit route. But because you're starting in April, you're going to have a little bit of time.
Okay, so we have some questions about, this is a fair point. English Connect and Pathway Connect are very similar names.
Yep.
I wish Brooke and I had a say in that, but we did not. And so it can be a little bit confusing. So let's read this question. Hey, do I need to take English Connect 3 to get started? To get started in BYU Pathway, are they different things? I'm kind of lost.
Yep. So English Connect is a great program that's designed to help you help people all around the world learn English. And so if you, as part of the BYU Pathway application, you need to take a free English language assessment. If you don't get a qualifying score to start with Pathway Connect, you will need to start with English Connect. It's a great way to improve your English, but it is not required or necessary to take first, so long as you can get a qualifying score on the English language assessment.
Okay. Oh yeah, we had somebody help out there. Do you have engineering courses?
Yep. Unfortunately, we don't have any engineering classes available online.
Okay, so you guys are giving great questions. Do return missionaries get automatic acceptance?
Yep. So recently returned missionaries are going to be able, they're going to receive preferred admissions. They're going to be able to, you'll still need to fill out the application, but you're going to have access to the recently returned missionary tuition discount. And it's a great option and opportunity for you to get started as soon as you get home from your mission.
Awesome. So how do I apply to work for BYU Pathway worldwide?
Yep. So if you are here in the United States and you're living in Utah or Idaho, you are able to go to byupathway.edu. And in the About Us section, there's some employment opportunities. If you live outside of the United States, unfortunately, we are unable to hire anyone directly that does not live in the United States.
Awesome. Okay, keep the questions coming. Next question. What are the requirements that a student should meet in order to apply?
Yep. So if you are looking to enroll in BYU Pathway, you really just need to be 18 years or older. That's it. There's no ACT, SAT, there's no application fee. So you'll need to be 18 years or older and fluent enough in English to get a qualifying score on the English language assessment.
Awesome. Okay, so this question was one that I didn't fully understand the first part, and I think they're just asking if, if they already got in and I'm trying to get in, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Are you just asking like what that looks like. Can you give us a little bit more information about what your actual question is so we can try to answer that? We'd be happy to.
Yep.
Okay, so this is asking about a green card, Brooke. Do you know what the score is?
I'm not sure what this is in regards to, but there's no green card or visas required to study through BYU Pathway, because you'll be living in your home country.
So regarding certificates, are they available in the portal now? I think that they would be available as soon as grades were posted and finalized,
Yep.
which my guess is that's going to be in about a week. But I don't know for sure. Do you have any more clear information on that, Brooke?
They should be they should be in there by the end of next week.
Yeah. I'm assuming they just kind of have to wait till grades are finalized. But I guess graduation, or it would everything kind of finished last week. So it should be very soon.
Yeah.
I think we answered this. Did we answer this? What are the requirements?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Someone I think answered this, but they were recently asked where BYU Pathway is from, state and country.
So there's multiple BYUs. So what's really fun is that it's all part of the church education system. So there is BYU in Provo, Utah. There's BYU Idaho in Rexburg, Idaho. BYU Hawaii in Laie, Hawaii. Ensign College, which is in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then BYU Pathway Worldwide, where we have students in 188 countries. So it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great. Okay, so here's the next, quick little shout out. Hey, by the way, I'm from Papua New Guinea.
Love it. It's so fun.
It. Okay, we're going to keep going. We're trying to go as fast as we can. We've got about 9 minutes to answer all these questions, and then we'll take a break. Okay, so will we continue the gatherings in the degree program?
Yep. So the gatherings are not part of the degree program, but you will have the opportunity to do group work and to get to know other students from around the world who are studying and taking the same classes that you are.
Okay, fabulous. Let's keep going here. Question about, I think tuition here, Brooke. I think this question is about tuition. So I'll pull up the tuition so you can talk about that.
Perfect. Yeah. So the application is free. So there's no application fee when applying for BYU Pathway. But the tuition is prorated or sort of based on where you live. So you're going to want to go to byupathway.edu/tuition to see what BYU Pathway costs per credit in your country.
Okay. Love it. Is it realistically possible to complete the online degree in 2 years instead of 3?
It would be really tough. So doing the degree in 3 means that you're taking 4 classes per semester or 2 classes per block. In order to do it in 2 years, you would need to take 6 classes per semester instead. So it is possible, but it would be challenging to work and to have a family life while still doing school. So possible, yes. Probably not the most realistic, though.
We have a question about electives. Can you explain elective courses for Institute? I'm having difficulty understanding it.
Yep. So with Institute or with religion classes, you're going to be able to pick which classes you want. Sometimes when you're picking classes, people might refer to those as electives or things that you're choosing to take and get to take. But you'll be able to select which Institute classes or religion classes you're most interested in. But they are required.
Okay, awesome. We've got 7 minutes. We're going to try to get through these as quick as we can. Does the 3-year degree include the time spent doing Pathway Connect?
It does not. So it's 3 years once you start the degree program. So with Pathway Connect, it's 3.5 years.
Okay. Do I have time to enroll for tomorrow?
Yes.
Or there's an hour left.
Yep. So if you are looking at doing online certificates and degrees, if you've finished Pathway Connect or want to go directly to BYU Idaho or Ensign College Online, as Darby said, you've got 56 minutes to get the application started. If you are going to be joining Pathway Connect, you want to get that application started, but we're going to keep enrolling and letting folks in until we reach our enrollment cap.
Awesome. We've got, is there a possibility that more degrees will be offered in the future?
Yeah. Possible, yes, but that we haven't heard anything. We're not expecting anything new or different to be coming up. But it would be, if we do that, we'll be on here to tell you all about it.
You
So
bet we will.
know about.
Okay, so how much for a per semester? I am from Nigeria. So let me pull up where to find that information.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu /tuition. And so it's in Nigeria, it's $5.25 per credit. And that's in US dollars. And in Pathway Connect, it's 3 credits per term, and so that's $15.75. But students in Africa, if they complete the Heber J. Grant tuition discount module, they're going to receive automatically 50% off. And so if you are in Nigeria, you do the Heber J. Grant, it's really only going to be about $7.50 a term during Pathway Connect.
Awesome. Okay, how do I get my institute credits transferred? I have no idea. Brooke, do you know?
Yeah. So sorry. So Ernest, you're going to want to work with your mentor to get those credits transferred. They'll be able to help you get that done. They'll create an appointment with you with a counselor if need be, but they'll be able to walk you through the process, because I actually don't know that process either.
Okay, so what we have a campus question, Brooke.
Yep. So you're going to have to work with the institution that you want to go to. So if that's BYU, BYU-Idaho, Ensign, another, you're going to want to work with them directly. We don't have any sway or influence on going to a campus.
Is there a way to get merchandise here in Mozambique?
Love that question, Apollo. There are a couple of small ways to do that. So on BYU Idaho's website, they actually host a small amount of merchandise that's available. You can also go to BYU-Pathway.edu /merchandise, and you can get connected directly with that link. There's also an opportunity to produce a shirt locally for personal use only. It's a great opportunity if you want to have a t-shirt created locally, but it is for individual use only. It is not for students to create a lot of t-shirts, make them, sell them, anything. It is for individual use only.
Okay, and there's that link there. The next question, I'm going to leave this up for just a minute, Brooke. We're almost out of time. What are the requirements for a new student to apply?
Yep. So if you are interested in enrolling in BYU Pathway, you just need to be 18 years or older and get a qualifying score on the English language assessment if English is not your first language.
Awesome. I'm sorry, there's one more question I really want to get to. Let me get back to that right here. Hey, greetings. I finished a semester in Pathway Connect 103, and I still have not received my offer from BYU. How long does it take? Okay, so they finished. They're waiting for the BYU-Idaho
awesome
letter.
So, Afonso, if depending on how long ago you started your application or finished your application, excuse me, we're in what we call a peak time. So it's taking a little bit longer to go through things. And so I would say it's taking at least a week, if not more, for our team to go through all of the applications and make sure all requirements are met. If you finished your application longer ago than that, please send us a direct message and we can try to help figure out what's happening.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up right there and take a break. If you are still wanting to apply, there's another 50 minutes that you can do that. For the applications, they'll be open. You can go to BYU-Pathway.edu. Thank you for all your questions, everyone. We'll see ya.
Thank you. Bye.